Hello, and welcome to episode 21 of my Totemless Amplified Hardcore Minecraft world with me, your host, Lark the Bird. And I have been excavating in this trial chamber. I'm about to call it a trail ruins again, but it's a trial chamber. And you can't see it, but I actually excavated a large section out from right above me. Why don't I just do this? And yeah, so here we go. So I want to open up all these this specific trial chamber so that I can maybe do some harder difficulty or harder level runs through it. And it's also a great way to get a bunch of tough blocks and of the copper grates and whatnot. But I was actually working on my community server, Corvus. So if you did not know, I have a community SMP that anyone is welcome to join pending they meet the requirements. I'm not going to get into that here, but I realized that the copper blocks, or not the copper, the tough blocks remind me of an Aztec mine style. And do you know who is currently doing a mine Aztec building theme in their world? That's me! And I was so ecstatic, and now I had to quickly boot up this world and get this recording ahead of my stream, which will be actually tomorrow, so that I can actually work on getting all of these items and stuff incorporated in the next build. So we're gonna go over there and get started on this, and then we're gonna go see what shenanigans we can cause with this. So this is the design that I came up with during one of my live streams in this world, and I saw some inspirations for some tunnels that were using the cherry wood and the honey blocks, and so I was like, I wonder if I can implement something that's similar that I can use to contain 2 villagers, or at least 1 villager. And actually, we had started out with a design that's almost reminiscent of this right here, so you would have a single villager in between these pillars, and I just thought it was too overcrowded. So far I've moved all my librarians over here, and honestly, I recommend using honey blocks for all future villager needs, because when you bring a villager in with a minecart, actually, I probably should just show you, it'd be easier. So when you bring a villager into the area, they land on the honey blocks. But so actually it's underneath carpet, just so that I don't easily break the honey, because I mean you can just punch honey. But it takes a little bit of effort to break a carpet and then honey. So once you get them here, like, you can just break the minecart. And because they're on the honey blocks, they can't jump, and so they can't teleport to these locations. And I haven't tested this extensively, but that is one of my biggest problems, is if there's a solid block, a lot of times they would teleport to a block, an open space on the side, especially if the space was not exactly 2 blocks tall. And I wonder if there's a hidden area behind there. No, there's not. So there's not a gap. So they could technically teleport if there was an empty space behind this. Actually, there is, I think. Let's look. Yeah. So they could technically teleport into this space as well. And I've had that happen a lot of times in working on areas, and it's not fun and it's never exciting. But this is so cool. And then, like, technically they can't jump up here or jump on top of the block because the honey prevents that. And so if we grab a workstation real quick, or workstation, like, I can just come in here and I can just quickly lock them in, and then they just get right on with their job. And then I can just keep moving the path up and down, and it works perfectly. So it's pretty much ideal what I would hope we'd want to expect, or what we'd expect from a trading hall. Something that we can easily get villagers into, and the villagers can't escape, but it's not very expensive. I mean, honey is a little expensive, but I mean, it's 4 bottles for a block, so you just build a little farm, or gather them naturally, and then I think you'll do pretty well. So since the last video clip, we actually have done a lot more, as you can probably tell. Rather than just having 2 hallways and our villager breeder over here, we now have technically we have 6 hallways and the possibility of adding another one. So we discussed this on my Twitch channel about in quite depth and just kind of figuring out how we're going to expand it all. So I like these individual hallways and the little pass over at the very end, or pass through. But I was like going through the list of all the villagers and I was like, why don't we just make sure that I don't need to do too much expanding right away in the future, like make sure it's nice and large. And someone suggested that we do like a cross pattern or a T at this moment. So it's kind of a T shape. It's more going to be like an ampersand, which for those who don't know, that's the pound sign. And so I have the possibility of expanding in the future, and then I'll just have to move the portal somewhere else. But yeah, so this is actually working really good. I'm going to have all the masons here. I have all the masons there. All of the librarians here. I'm slowly working on getting more toolsmiths. And then I'm going to have this filled with clerics. As you can see, we're about halfway full in there. And then I don't remember. I think one of them's farmers. And I don't remember what this last one is off the top of my head. But at the very end of these sections, let me just run down there real quick. We actually have 4 spots on every hallway, or 2 spots on each hallway technically, but 4 across from each other, that I can actually put 2 or 4 villagers of the types that I don't necessarily need. So like I don't need a bunch of armorers. Like, I mean, yes, this dude trades iron and emeralds, which is great with my iron farm, but all these dudes also trade iron. So, and I'm not dying a lot. Well, I mean, if I died technically, the world would be over. So. So yeah, so I don't plan on trying to die, so I'm not going to get a bunch of armor and a gear and stuff. Maybe in the future, if I convert this into a long survival world over after a hardcore world, I don't know, we'll see. But I still have a lot to do, and I'm actually going to finish this up today. And actually, one of the things that I'm going to be doing, can I land up here real quick? I think this might be the best view. Yeah. So what the thing that's going to happen is I'm going to convert the space around this into farms. And these are going to be like, I'm going to have a carrot and potato farm, probably here, a melon farm, pumpkin farm, and just doing my best to make sure that I can gather all of the farms, including animals and whatnot, that might feed the farmers, because I think farmers are going to be the best way to get iron, and I could probably put a giant iron farm in here as well. But another thing that we did was, so you probably are like wondering, well, where are you getting the villagers from? And well, there's a bubble column over there, and if we come down here, this is, let me, there we go. This is where I moved the farmer, so it's right below our floor. And so they actually do a really good job at breeding and keeping up in track. I've just had a little bit of AFK time, but as I work on the area some more, I'll definitely get more and more villagers. And then I did an automatic dispensing system, so you push a button over there and it causes this dispenser to fire a minecart. And it picks up the oldest villager in there, because that's how Minecraft priority works. And then it brings it up here. So I'll show you how this works. So I can push this button right here. It's going to dispense a villager. And then, okay, weird. And then I push the button. And he gets put over there. And then when I'm done, do I have a minecart on me? I actually just throw the minecart here because I have a hopper minecart and a hopper line feeding it back into the system. So it's a pretty good system, I'd say. The only thing I wish I could do better is if I had a larger gap between the walls. I definitely have a water stream push the villager into the minecart rail, but that's in the future. So let me sleep, and I'm gonna keep working on this, and I'll see you on the flip side. So just a brief abruption to my progress to show you what I have gone to so far. And the first thing is I got our crop farms in. So I have 2 carrot and 2 potato farms, which I actually had to go grab a random villager from an acacia village in order to get it so that they weren't planting potatoes, which was a nuisance because I killed like 4 villagers in the process. I got a melon and pumpkin farm installed. There's nothing really fancy about any of these farms. The villagers just throw it to another villager here, and then the melon and pumpkins just get crushed, and then hopper minecarts below pick them up and deposit them into storage. I have 4 beacons installed in the corner, so they're actually like, no, wait, this one. They're right here on all 4 sides, so that if I do expand in the future, the beacon won't be hindered. And then I also got nearly 3 modules filled. Well, one, two, three. So nearly 4 modules filled. This baby just needs to grow up. And so I need to, what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 villagers on this side. Then I need to fill these 2 sides as well. And then I have started framing up kind of like the safety domes, because I want to enclose all this space so that zombies and stuff, especially in this area, can't jump down here and interact with the villagers, because I just want to keep them safe at all times. And yeah, so that's kind of the progress so far. There's probably some more farms I need to put in here. I just don't know what I want to do right now. So I'm just going to keep grinding away on this, make sure it's nice and safe, and then I need to AFK here for quite a bit of time to get some more villagers bred up. So we'll see you on the flip side. And after plenty of grinding, we are approximately 85 to 90% done with the hall. I actually got all of the roofs in and carried over, which was, or the ceilings, I guess, and it's a decent roof as well, and I'm quite content with how it looks. I also filled in glass on the outside of all of the hallways so mobs can't get in, even though I did have an encounter with a mob getting in and converting some into zombie villagers, which I then just let them all convert each other in this hallway. So now all my iron to emerald trades are now 1-to-1. I got everything up to the master level as well, and my newest adventure that I've been working on is getting all of the Fletchers to get all of the tipped arrows that I would like, but this is going to be kind of a long-term project, because I don't even know how many there are, but I've already killed like 6 or 7 Fletchers because they just carry weapons instead. But this is going to wrap this episode up, and I have to say that this is probably one of my favorite hauls I've ever done for storing villagers, and I hope that maybe some things that you saw might influence you in your next decisions. So until then, I hope you enjoyed episode 22, and I will see you on the flip side. So goodbye!